Oh, howdy y'all, grab yourselves a beer. It is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today I want to talk about my upcoming divination card, and so I've put up a related divination card because mine hasn't yet been released and the artwork doesn't yet exist for it. But divination cards are player created things that go into the Path of Exile core game that come from an expensive special supporter pack. If you're interested in them, email Grinding Gear Game Support, but as of March 2019, it costs $660 to commission a divination card. And that comes with 6,600 store points, at least as of 4 months ago. Now, all of the divination cards that exist in the game at the moment are player created, although GGG reserve the right to produce their own ones in future. You get no input as a creator over where it drops, or even advanced knowledge over where it will drop, which is about maintaining the integrity of the game and not having pay-to-cheat mechanisms. In any case, my new divination card is approved and is likely to be in 3.8, pending the artwork being completed. If GGG's artists are too busy, then it may end up getting bumped back to 3.9. The story of my divination card starts with another divination card from Synthesis League, one that you'll see on the screen in front of you at the moment, Arrogance of the Vaal. This is my favourite divination card in the game. What it gives you, turn in a set of 8 cards, and you'll be rewarded with a random unique item that has 2 implicit corruptions. Now, what this is, in most cases, this ends up being absolute garbage. You get a bad unique most of the time that has 2 corruptions on it, one of which might be okay but doesn't synergize with the item, the other one of which is pure rubbish, and you end up with an overall package of an item that, whilst it's more powerful than the base item would have been, just doesn't have the synergies necessary or the raw power, because the base unique is weak, the raw power necessary to make a solid item. So an example, you might wind up with the bow Doomfletch, which is the not upgraded part of Doomfletch Prism, and then because it's been double corrupted, it then can't be used to upgrade into Doomfletch Prism, and even though it's got some corruptions on it, they don't end up mattering because the item's no good. Or you could get something like Stormcloud, which is a great leveling unique, but just doesn't have the power to compete at endgame. Sometimes, however, with Arrogance of the Vaal, you can hit extraordinarily hard. For instance, you could hit a Divine Perfect Threshold Jewel with two very good corrupted implicits on it, such as Corrupted Blood can't be inflicted on you and minus 1% reservation costs. And this is the sort of thing that will be, although it's only slightly better than that jewel would be otherwise, if someone's using that jewel in their build, that's just going to be an upgrade for them, and they're going to be keen to get that and willing to potentially pay quite a bit of currency for it. So that's why I really like the Arrogance of the Vaal card. It's a lot of fun to turn in, and it's its low price is low value in trade is because of the fact that the vast majority of turn-ins are bad, but you do sometimes hit really hard. In any case, the story of my card continues with a Breach unique, and I think that some of you are probably seeing what my divination card is for now. Skin of the Loyal is one of my favourite unique items. If you've seen my video on the Incursion Corruption Chamber, you'll know that it's one item that I recommend double corrupting a lot, especially in leagues like Legion, where it is very cheap. Now, Skin is the more common of the various Chaola uniques, Chaola being the Chaos-aligned Breach Lord, and appears that about 1 in 3 Chaola domain runs drop this item, but more of them if you're using upgraded stones. So if you're using a Chaola's Pure Breach Stone, have about a 2 in 3 chance of picking up a Skin of the Loyal. Now that's average. You can actually get 2 of them in one shot. So I'm saying that if you were to run 600 pure Chaola Breach Stones, you should probably expect to get 400 of this item, give or take a bit. In any case, at its baseline, Skin of the Loyal is a better version of a +1 to socketed skill gems Tabula Rasa without the white sockets, and with a nasty line that sockets cannot be modified. So let's unpack it. It also has this line, 100% increased global defenses. Let's discuss that first. 100% increased global defenses means 100% increase to your armor, evasion, and energy shield. Now that sounds utterly broken because you might be thinking, oh, but I've got an armor, sorry, I've got a helmet that's giving me energy shield, I've got gloves that are giving me energy shield, I've got boots, I've got a crystal belt on, all these things are giving me energy shield, and this is going to double them all. No, it's not. It's 100% increased, and in practice it will work about as well, assuming that all of your equipment is energy shield based. It will work about as well as a typical helmet. So in that sense, it is not as good as a pure energy shield piece that's of comparable quality to the rest of your gear. If you've got outstanding quality energy shield gloves, outstanding quality energy shield helmet, outstanding quality energy shield, and boots and a crystal belt and the like, you'll probably find that this will give you about 55 to 60% of the energy shield you would get by wearing a comparable quality to your helmet, gloves, and boots, a comparable quality piece of energy shield gear. However, it's meaningful that it's giving you some armor, some evasion, some energy shield, particularly if you're stacking one of these mods, but you're willing to not go. You're not wanting to go all in on that mod. You just want to have a fair bit of it. And so for that reason, it's something that you can equip on energy shield characters, and it will feel fairly strong, but it will not match a real piece of energy shield gear. Likewise, if you're someone that is using Molten Shell as a defensive skill, then it will provide you a meaningful amount of armor, but will not be anything close to equipping a brass stone. So, +1 to level of socketed gems. This is really powerful, but it's not of equal power to all builds. It's a marginal bonus on most melee skills and bow skills, with the exception of Elemental Hit, which we'll treat as a spell for these purposes. Generally speaking, it just provides a couple of % of extra damage, maybe a small amount of flat damage as well. Nothing particularly great. It is a marginal bonus on most support gems, with the exception of support gems that have level sensitive scaling, like added cold damage support or decay support, both of which get quite a bit more out of this item than say a support gem like added fire damage support, which does not scale much with level. It's a strong bonus, getting +1 to socketed gems on most spells. Not quite every spell, but almost all of them gain a lot from +1 level. And it is extraordinary on some spells, which get miles better at certain breakpoint levels. And a good example of this is Righteous Fire. Righteous Fire has an enormous jump in power when you go from gem level 19 to gem level 20, and again from gem level 23 to gem level 24. In both cases, as well as picking up a small bonus in its bonus to spell damage, it gains additional radius, and radius is extremely good on that skill. The other thing that's significant with getting +1 to socketed skill gem levels is that this +1 is extremely good on Empower support, Enhance support, and Enlighten support. Now, of particular note, if +1 to skill gems is good, then +2 is going to be better, +3 is going to be better again. We'll come back to this point later. Lastly, we want to unpack this line, sockets cannot be modified. What this means is that Skin of the Loyal is basically immune to chromatic orbs. You cannot use a chromatic orb on it, or actually you might be able to use one on it, but it doesn't do anything. And all of the crafting bench modifiers that adjust sockets will not work on it. So again, you can't chrome it, you can't use a jeweler's orb or a fusing orb on it either, but it's a 6 link. It's always a 6 link when it drops, so that doesn't matter. So that's a significant drawback. It means that you're stuck with the colors that you've got, and the only things that can change those colors are things that corrupt the item. So using a Vaal orb on it or using Elva's corruption chamber on it, both of these can change the colors of the sockets, but doing so it basically transforms the item into something else. So without any further ado, let's discuss the Price of Loyalty, my new divination card. This card is for a Skin of the Loyal with 2 implicit corruptions and item level 25. So, the pool of available corruptions for a Skin of the Loyal with item level 25 is pretty small, and I'm bringing them up in PODB at the moment. You'll notice here that this one is item level 80, so it doesn't count. These ones here, these 4 of them are all 45. They can't roll on an item level 25 Skin of the Loyal. So, what we have, decreased physical damage reduction while stationary. This is a bogey price. +1 to the level of socketed gems. +40 to 50% increased damage. You take 50% reduced extra damage from crits. +2 to the level of socketed duration gems. Same for AoE, same for aura, same for curse, same for trap or mine, same for warcry, same for projectiles. And +4 to 6% increased life. +4 to 6% increased maximum energy shield. So they're the possible corruptions. I'm going to get 2 of them. Now, in terms of separating these out into various power tiers, there are some of them that are unconditionally good, and those are +40 to 50% increased damage. That's just huge. That is really powerful, as is +1 to the level of socketed gems. Then there's a second tier that are very good, but that are color dependent. +2 to the level of duration skills, +2 to the level of socketed AoE gems, +2 to traps and mines, and +2 to projectile gems. All of these are really good, but don't necessarily work for every combination of colors. And that's going to be quite interesting to try and assess and work out the best thing that you can do with a specific combination. There is a niche one, +2 to the level of socketed curse gems. This is going to be absolutely incredible if you roll it on a character that, with a color combination that works for Bane, for the Bane skill. Where Bane is very sensitive to level, curses are very sensitive to level, and curses are also very sensitive to quality. You might wind up wanting to use enhanced support in there as well. So many different options that are available, and that is going to sometimes be an exceptional roll, but in most cases I think +2 to socketed curse gems is going to be a bad roll. There are a couple that are marginal but useful unconditionally, and these are 4 to 6% life. 4 to 6% life is good, but it's just not enough to be meaningful. Likewise, 4 to 6% energy shield, always useful, but often very marginal because the numbers are small. And the last one that is of some use, but perhaps not as great, is you take 50% reduced extra damage from critical strikes. So that effectively reduces enemy crit multiplier when enemies hit you. Then we have the absolute meh, increased physical damage reduction while stationary, +2 to socketed aura gems, and +2 to socketed warcry gems. These basically just reduce the chance of you getting an extraordinary item. Now there's a fairly high chance for you to hit a very strong combination of mods with this divination card set, but the colors need to be right for the item to be truly extraordinary. And in that sense, turning in a set of this is going to be a big gamble in the same way that identifying Watcher's Eyes is. If you hit a +2 and +2 to